I'm Oliver Sloup with Blue Line Futures, coming to you from the Chicago Board of Trade with another episode of Tech Talk. Yesterday, we touched on the red wave in the grain market and that extreme volatility that we saw there. Today, we're going to kind of be a little bit more optimistic and upbeat and talk about something that outperformed. That was the cattle complex and even lean hogs. Lean hogs finished the day lower, but well off the lows. We'll get that into that in a minute. But let's start off by looking at a few of these different charts. This is the first one we've got pulled up here. This is December live cattle, and we saw the big breakout move above this 105, 106 area, which was the top end of the recent range going back to October 19th and 20th. We broke out above there. That spurred additional momentum towards this 108 area, which if you look back at things, this has been a huge level and a lot of interaction between buyers and sellers over the course of the year. We saw this was the breakdown point in March, became resistance that we failed against in May. Then we eventually broke out above here. July became support, breakdown point again here recently. So a lot of interaction between here. The close above here, I think, could potentially spark an additional move higher towards this 110 level, which is where we started breaking down from just about a week or so ago. So that's going to be the line in the sand. As far as the cash developments go, we were hearing some 106 there in Texas, which was on par, but then we started hearing some rumors that might not be enough to get everything bought here this week. So we could potentially see cash firm up here as we go into the weekend. Keep in mind also with the end of the month being tomorrow, last trading day of the month tomorrow, there's going to be likely a lot of volatility, especially with an election next week. So we expect the volatility to persist as we look to round out the week. But nonetheless, a great day for live cattle. We expect to see a little bit of continuation up towards that 110 level. From that point, it's going to be kind of a tug-of-war point between buyers and sellers. Now, moving over to the feeder cattle complex, very friendly. The sharp drop-off in corn that we've seen here this week has certainly been a tailwind for the market, and anybody that follows the feeder cattle market could have told you, well, of course, corn comes off 20-plus cents. That's going to be a big boost to the feeder cattle market, and that's exactly what we've seen. We are retracing the breakdown point here from October 16th. This was also previously support back in June, so now going to be resistance. The bears are still in the driver's seat as far as the technicals go. We've been marking lower highs and lower lows for the better part of the last 2 to 3 months. So consecutive closes out above this 132 level would neutralize the bearish technical landscape and potentially encourage momentum traders and new buyers to step in and take us a little closer towards this 136, 137 area, which was previous support and the breakdown point from the very beginning of the month. So that's what we're looking at for live cattle and feeder cattle. And as promised, we will touch on December hogs. December hogs gapped lower and filled this gap. And this is something that we've been talking about in our daily livestock roundup for the past several days, wanting to be ready, willing, and able to buy 64.5 to 65. This is the gap going back to October 8th. We filled that, got a nice rebound, and didn't close positive, but off the lows, and that is encouraging enough to think that we might get a little bit more follow through to the upside and potentially fill the gap from earlier in the week, which comes in a little bit closer towards that 68 handle. So that's what we're looking at. That's what you should be looking at too. This has been Oliver Sloup with Blue Line Futures from the Chicago Board of Trade. Remember, futures trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Thanks a lot.